Doc has entered the building. You are listening to the Sportcat Show.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. You have the one, the only Sportcat. I am here with you for the next 2 hours. We're going to talk about some headline news, some craziness. There's a asteroid the size of Manhattan coming to destroy us. There's all kinds of things. Good morning to our friends over in Australia, and welcome. Please come over and find us on the Sportcat shows. Just search it out and like, follow, share, and subscribe, please. We could use your love. Hello, Chris. Glad to see you in the chat. Didn't see Denise, but hello. I have no idea where Brenda is. She is MIA. So it's just me today. I'm sorry. You gotta put up with me, but I think we can struggle through this. So let's see. Well, let's go ahead and start off. Where are we today? Well, it's currently 2:03. I need to put my little clock up there. There we go. It's 2:03 on the East Coast. And in LA, it's 11:03. And good morning to you in LA. It's afternoon in Denver. Good afternoon, Chicago. Hope you enjoyed your lunch. It's 1. Anchorage. Oh, you poor people. You've had so much going on. It is 10:03 a.m. there. And our friends in Australia, it is 2:03 tomorrow morning. So time traveling. Hello. Good morning to you. And good morning in Sydney. We are your wake up show. We're your morning drive show. How about that? Your radio zoo. Is that still a thing? Adelaide. Well, it's 4:33 a.m. You're just getting your day going just as you are in Lord Howe, 5:04. And if you want to know, Santa has propped his feet up at the end of a long day. It is 6:04 in Santa's world. So Chris says, I will pick up my game and try and help you out. I can't let Alice Springs and Lord Howe down. Yeah. Well, I'm going to need your help today, Chris, because we're going to struggle through this. Let's see. Well, we're going the other way now. I gotta move my chair. I thought I had all this situated. I'm gonna get the beaver moon on its way, and we are 4% towards a new moon, which occurs on November 5th. So, all right. Well, the moon's age is 1.93 days old. Well, I think it's older than that. And it's got a new buddy. So it's got a new little rock that's hanging out with it, at least for the rest of our life. We'll talk about that here in a bit. If you want to go outside and see the moon, it's just partially illuminated, so it may be a little bit hard to see. So I needed to put up the, maybe I don't remember the name of the rock. We've got a new rock that is orbiting us, and they say it's not a true moon. I wonder if we'll try and go to it. So, all right. Well, here we see that the sun is bright and shiny off the coast of South America, and the moon is not far behind. I'm going to adjust that better. I don't like that there. All right. So Comet 3I Atlas. Where is it? Well, it is hiding near the sun. It is invisible to us. We are not able to see it, but it is hiding behind the sun. So if you were to look up at the sun, it would be behind it. So it is hiding. It is out of NASA and all astronomers' telescopes' view because of that bright star right there, the sun. Chris says 1.93 days old. Sounds like fake moon news. Huh? I agree. Fake moon. So yeah, there you go. If you go out and you look up 3I Atlas, is somewhere behind it, keeping an eye on us. It's funny how it's going to take so many days, because it's not supposed to come out from behind the sun for 6 more days. It's kind of odd how that happens. So we see the other asteroids. Well, they're zooming in, and they're coming in at normal asteroid levels, whereas 3I Atlas It came in flat so that it could pass the most rocks from the sun and inspect our galaxy. So it is currently hiding. And I watched, I doom scroll, so you guys don't have to. I watched a video from a military astronomer, which was kind of interesting because he was saying the reverse tail, which is unusual. If you were to be coming out of, we'll use the word hyperdrive, for instance, and you were coming into our galaxy and you wanted to slow down and deflect the solar storms and the energy from the sun, you would move your tail to in front of you so that it was slowing you down by its natural inertia. So interesting. And they said if he was an invading military, that he would probably go behind the sun and send out little rockets or probes to see what we had going on down here. So Chris says he's going to go outside and stare intently at the sun and see if he can detect anything. Don't burn your eyes out, Chris. Don't worry. The alien overlord is going to make its way visible soon. So they keep saying, and it's a headline if you Google it, make sure to go on vacation before October 29th. That concerns me. Why are we seeing headlines that say go on vacation before October 29th? I don't know. All right, well, let's do some this day stuff. Today's trivia. What starts with an E and ends with an E, but usually has only one letter in it? I-E? No, that wouldn't be right. Yeah, I have no idea. Well, let's see what the answer is. I've got to go down here. I didn't click for the answer. Click for answer. Envelope. It only has one letter in it. Okay, I get it. All right, well, I screwed that one up. Today's quote, the waste is a terrible thing to mind. Yeah. On this day, October 23rd, the longest NFL punt return. Robert Bailey of the Los Angeles Rams in the game against the New Orleans Saints. Saints punted the ball, and it looked like it would bounce out of the end zone. However, it didn't. Everyone except Bailey thought the ball was dead. He scooped it up as players were walking off the field and returned for a touchdown before anyone realized what had happened. Don't they always say play through the whistle? Isn't that what you're supposed to do? I always thought that was the rule. So I don't know. Maybe if Troy Aikman was calling that game, we would have had a better. Maybe it was.
He starts to come and then he pulls out.
Yeah. So play to the whistle, and we're gonna talk some sports news today, because the NBA was shook today. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. And Stephen A. Smith, if you follow him, he is a sports, well, he's also does some political stuff, reporter. And he's saying that all the other sports need to pay attention. This is the tip of the iceberg. So we'll talk about that here in a minute. The first criminal prosecution for cheating on a college entrance exam. October 23rd, 1992. A 19-year-old man from Maryland is sentenced to 6 months for committing perjury after paying another man $200 to take the SAT, Scholastic Aptitude Test. He took the test for him. He eventually admitted his guilt. Suspicions arose after his substitute score exceptionally high on the exam. All right, well, why would you cheat to get in college? This day in October 23rd, 1983 was a horrible day for the Marines. It was a bombing of their barracks in Beirut. 2 truck bombs strike separate buildings housing multinational forces in Lebanon. The peacekeepers specifically targeting U.S. and French service members. It killed 241 U.S. and 58 French peacekeepers, 6 civilians, and the 2 suicide murderers. This was the deadliest single-day death toll for the U.S. Marine Corps since WW2's Iwo Jima. That's bad. So hopefully we will remember them. First day videotaped. Okay, let's try this again. It was the first videotaped person on network TV in 1956. A 2.5-minute videotape performance by Dorothy Collins aired during a live broadcast of the Jonathan Winter Show. Videotape recorder was new, and NBC engineers wanted to see if the viewing public could tell the difference between a videotape and the live portion. They played the segment as if it were part of the live show, and it passed the test. That's funny. It was 1956, and in 2025, we're doing the same thing with AI. And can you tell the difference between AI and reality? The lines are starting to get blurred. Yes, Chris, sports betting news. I will be honest, there was so much news and headlines on this, and it's moving so quickly. It was hard to find one place to summarize it. It's getting ugly fast in the sports world. Excuse me. And they're giving up on each other. They're rolling on each other. Millionaires rolling on millionaires. It's a shame. All right. In 4004 BC, the biblical day of creation, as calculated in 1658 by Archbishop James Ussher of Arm, Ireland. He used a combination of biblical and historical documents to calculate this date of creation. Interesting. So they're saying in 4004 BC, on this day, was creation. So I'm assuming that means the earth was created. I'm not, maybe, or is it man was created? At any rate, we've come a long way. In 1992, this is an odd report. A woman was detained for an unusually large buttocks. She was attempting to smuggle in 1.5 pounds of surgically implanted heroin through the Colombian airport. What? What? And if today's world, if they stopped that same lady, would they not be accused of profiling? I mean, come on. The first Japanese emperor visited China today in 1992, Emperor Akito. This day in 1992, the director of the French National Blood Transfusion Center is convicted of knowingly distributing AIDS-infected blood, resulting in 256 deaths and hundreds of new cases of the disease. Horrible. 1947, Reagan testifies on communism in the entertainment industry. Communism just won't go away from the news. Ronald Reagan, president of the Screen Actors Guild, otherwise known as SAG, and future president of the United States, testified before the House Un-American Activities Committee about communism in the entertainment industry. He testified that a small, quote, clique within the SAG was using communist-like tactics in attempting to steer union policy. The unions took a hit today, too. I can certainly testify that in the case of the Screen Actors Guild, we have been eminently successful in from preventing them from using their tactics, trying to run a majority of an organization in a well-organized minority. Yeah, Chris, you're right. Today would be an immediate buttocks lawsuit. There'd be cell phone video, people losing their mind. Yeah. The first successful stratospheric flight through the clouds occurred in 1934 today. Jean Felix Picard, not from Star Trek, is it? And his wife in a balloon reached an altitude of 11 miles. Wow. For 1934, that's something. In 1932, it was Fred Allen's first radio show. I'm not sure who Fred Allen is. So the Lent Bath Club review debate on radio show. So wonder what they'd think of me if we could send the signal from this. Obviously, we're around the world right now, and we're getting hundreds of listeners in Australia tuning in. Imagine if somehow we could take this signal and send it out backwards in time, and somebody tuned me on AM radio. What would they think? Wow. The first USA National Radio Network broadcast received on the West Coast. It was a speech by President Calvin Coolidge in 1924. The first National Women's Right Convention occurred this date in 1850. That's right, 1850. Concerns included the right to vote, equal wages, women's property rights, and marriage reform. Oh, how we have changed. The best men in sports are women. So, birthdays on October 23rd, Johnny Carson, an American Emmy-winning TV late night host of The Tonight Show for nearly 30 years, from 1962 to 1992. He was an avid tennis player when he sold his Malibu house to John McEnroe. The terms required McEnroe to give Johnny 6 tennis lessons. That's great. The first woman to swim the English Channel, Gertrude Caroline Ederle. She was the first swimmer to swim the English Channel in 1926. Her time of 14 hours, 34 minutes for the 21-mile swim was almost 2 hours faster than the current men's record. Her record stood until 1950. She also won 3 Olympic medals, including a gold. All right. Well, happy birthday to Gertrude, but she died in 2003. Weird Al. He was born today in 1959. An American Grammy-winning satirist musician. Oh, Weird Al. I Lost on Jeopardy. He was in UHF, in the Al Yankovic story. He is still touring. He is still putting out music. So he's something. Michael Krishan, might know him. He's a famous author, born in 1942. Westworld, that TV show in the 70s, terrorized me. And of course, Jurassic Park. Dimitri Arliss, an American actress from TV Rich Man, Poor Man, Book 2, The Sting. Okay, she was born in 1932. She passed away in 2012. Robert Bray, an American actor, starred in Lassie, 64 to 68. He died from an accidental gunshot wound sustained while out hunting alone. You shouldn't hunt alone. And gobbledygook. Maury Maverick was born in 1895. An American politician, a U.S. congressman in Texas, mayor of San Antonio. He coined the word gobbledygook in 1944, referring to obscure and euphemistic bureaucratic language. He was born in 1895 on this day, passed away in 1954. So would 67 or 67, however they're saying it today, qualify for that? I don't know. Let's see. Hello, Denise. Welcome. Oh, we're glad you're here. Just come on in, join the chat. We're having fun. Gummo Marx, American comedian, one of the Marx brothers. He left a team to join the military during WW1 before they reached stardom. After the war, he became a talent agent. His clients included the great Groucho Marx, and he helped develop the radio show Life of Riley. So Chris says Gummo is a name that needs to come back. Adlai Ewing Stevenson the First. All right. He was an American politician, the 23rd Vice President of the United States, from 1893 to 1897. He served under Grover Cleveland. He was a U.S. House of Representative member from Illinois, while serving as at first assistant postmaster in 1895. He fired over 40,000 Republic workers and replaced them with Southern Democrats. Still doing their thing. 1893, due to mouth cancer, he required the replacement of his upper jaw with a prosthesis. Not wanting to start another panic on Wall Street, the operation was kept secret by performing it on a yacht. Interesting. So in 1885, he fired 40,000 Republicans and replaced them with Democrats. And they say that what we're doing today is new. Okay. Samuel Morey. It's funny how history repeats. Born this day in 1762, he was an inventor and patented the U.S. internal combustion engine. It was later used to power the first automobile ride in the U.S. Peter II, that's his whole name. He was born in 1715. He was the Tsar of Russia, grandson of Peter the Great. He died of smallpox on his intended wedding day. Okay. Let's see. We'll just hit this quickly. Deaths on October 23rd. Al Jolson. You might remember him. Zane Grey. He was a Western novelist. And Joan Quigley. Apparently, she was a astrologer. Okay, Joan Quigley. Lou Jacoby, a Canadian actor. Robert Lansing, an American actor. Let's see. Jason Savage, American News Congress, and American News correspondent, and an author of Brewster's Millions. George Barr McCutcheon. John Boyd Dunlop, he was a Scottish veterinarian and inventor. He invented the pneumatic tire. He would later lose his patent rights when it was discovered the tire had already been patented. Dunlop originally developed pneumatic tires for his son's tricycle and soon had them made commercially in Scotland. So, Dunlop, interesting. That's the history of the business of the company Dunlop. Let's see here. Let's see what else we got going on today. 42 BC. I don't know if we're going to go back that far. 42 BC, Second Battle of Philippi. Brutus's army is decisively defeated by Mark Antony and Octavian during the Roman Empire, causing Brutus to fall on his sword. Ooh, what a horrible way to go. Let's see. In 1942, British and its allies launch a major offensive at El Alamein in Egypt during WW2. 1981, the debt reached $1 trillion. What is it today? It's like 10 times that, isn't it? Probably more. 2001, Provisional Irish Republican Army of Northern Ireland commences disarmament following peace talks. Today in film, 1941, Walt Disney's originally animated movie Dumbo is released. A classic. I think everybody's seen that growing up, didn't they? 2015, Adele releases her single, Hello, becomes the first song with more than 1 million downloads in its first week. I played that on my radio station today, I think. 1966, Australian Jack Brabham is the first to win the F1 Drivers' Championship and an International Cup for Constructors Championship in the same year, finishing second in the season-ending Mexican Grand Prix. Did you know possible T8/F4 strikes in the heart of London, killing 2 and demolishing the wooden London Bridge in October of the 23rd in 1091. I think we covered most birthdays, but we'll go through real quick and see if we missed anybody that's famous. I'm not going to go back to 1400. Sorry. We'll start closer to where our generation is. How about the 60s? Maybe that'll be a good start. I have learned through my analytics that my target audience is male from like 35 to 70. I don't know how. So I'm trying to get the females to come over and like, follow, and share. So we talked about Johnny Carson in 1925. And let's see, we'll just skip ahead here and see what we got. Jim Bunning, American Hall of Fame pitcher for the Detroit Tigers and the Philadelphia Phillies. He was later a senator, was born in 1931. And we'll keep going here. Chichi Rodriguez, a Puerto Rican golfer. He was born in 1935 today. Everybody remembers Chichi. Pele, he's a Brazilian soccer player. I didn't realize he had passed away in 2022. I'm going to claim that's not, I don't want to say fake news, but I don't recall that. We talked about Michael Kreischen. Let's see. And Ang Lee, a Taiwanese born American filmmaker known for Brokeback Mountain, born in 1954. Okay. I didn't know that. Weird Al, he is 66 today, still going. Doug Flutie, he's 63. Any of you sports fans know who Doug Flutie is? He holds many records. He was a Heisman Trophy quarterback, 1984, and he played for the Bills. He played for a couple teams. He was known for his quickness and his shortness. And I think he still holds the record of the only quarterback to punt a field goal. They used to have a rule where you could punt on fourth down to try and make a field goal if you opted to. And you didn't have to tell him. So he's the only one, I believe, to have ever done that. I'd have to go back and look that up. Kevin Henry, an American NFL defensive end for the Steelers. He was born in Mississippi this day in 1968. In 1970, Grant Imahara, an American TV mythbuster, was born, it says Lod. It's got to be Los Angeles. All right. And Richard McNamara, a British guitarist, was born this day in 1972. And let's see, we'll just keep going here and see what we stumble into. Ryan Reynolds. Everybody loves Deadpool. He is 49 today. I saw that he's filming another movie. So I think it's another Deadpool, or at least it's a cameo of Deadpool. So they also just had a great comic book out where Deadpool and Batman team up. It's a pretty dang good comic book. Amelia Clark, she's 39. She's known from the Game of Thrones. And she was born in London in 1986. And let's see. Leah Van Dale, Carmella, a WWE Women's Champion, was born this day in 1987. I should know some of these. Steve Brock, American teen pop singer. I don't know who he is, but he's born in 1990. Nick Bosa, an American football player for the 49ers. And let's go backwards and see. We're just kind of going a little slow today. Maybe Brenda will wake up. Maybe she'll join us. Maybe she won't. I don't know. I have no idea where she is. She hasn't messaged me. So celebrity birthdays today. I think we covered most of them, but we're not going to go back that far. No. We're not going to go back that far. Let's see. We talked about those. See if there's anyone in here we missed. Mel Winkler. That name sounds familiar. He was in The Devil in a Blue Dress. He was born in 1941. And let's see. I don't follow a lot of these people. So if sports, I might, but I'm not really into entertainment world. I need to be, but I just don't seem to have time for it. And I'm actually having an internal conflict because I don't feel like I have enough time for my dog right now. And I feel like she's suffering, which I know that sounds weird, but maybe I will be known for loving my dog instead of hating my dog like another popular YouTubist is at the moment. Let's see. Bruticus dies by suicide on this day in 42 BCE. 1247, the Bethlehem Hospital is founded in London. Interesting. Let's see here. Ang Lee is born in 1954. Selena Quintella's killer is found guilty. Okay. Death of Selena Quinta. Wasn't familiar with that. Dr. Burnett Slepian is killed by an anti-abortion radical in 1998. There wasn't a whole lot of history on today, was there? Go over here and see if there's... Oh, here we go. So we'll start off with today's holidays. And, well, apparently... Hold on, let me catch up in the comments here. 1962, Mike Tomczak, Chicago Bears quarterback. It's his birthday. Well, happy birthday. Today, October 23rd, it is a holiday known as National Slap Your Coworkers Day. Will that not land you in jail? Hungarian Republic Day. Chris, I'm not even going to attempt to say that day. Libya Liberation Day. It's Mole Day. And it sounds like the kind of mole that's on your body. But you know what? Let's just check it out. I'm bored for the moment. October 23rd. We've already missed it. Well, if you're on the East Coast. Between 6:02 a.m. and 6:02 p.m., Mole Day is its basic chemistry algorithm about those funny-looking creatures called moles. Okay. The day is celebrated to bring awareness and create interest in the study of chemistry. Oh, so it's a different mole. Maybe it's a molly. I don't know. I didn't do too well with that. Hello, Andreas. Welcome. Please hit that like, follow, share, and subscribe button. Let's get out of the screen because I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. My chemistry was limited to paramedicine. When I went to college, we didn't. And, well, fire science. That reminds me. Hold on. I didn't play my disclaimer. I got to play this so everybody knows I'm not a scientist. I'm just a guy. Somewhere. Where did I have that? I don't know. I hid it. So really, I did hide it. There it is.
The views, opinions, and satirical content expressed on Sportcat's Daily Gazette
That's me.
are those of the host, Glenn Sportcat Jackson,
This guy.
and do not reflect the views of any affiliated networks, sponsors, or platforms hosting the show.
I'm just a guy.
This show is intended for entertainment purposes only. Please note, satire and humor,
That's right.
all commentary,
Sarcasm.
especially on news, sports, and entertainment, is presented in a satirical manner.
That's right.
Statements made on this show should not be taken as factual reporting
Correct.
or professional advice.
I'm not a scientist. So it's National Boston Cream Pie Day. I don't know how I feel about that. It's National Croc Day, National iPod Day, National Paralegal Day. Well, a little bit of history on me. I came out of business college because I hated it. I went into paralegal school and I made it through there, and I started pre-law, and I was like, I hate this. And I went back to school and became a paramedic. The downfall of my life. TV talk show host today is day. It's TV talk show host day today. So I'm a radio talk show. Or the YouTube count is I don't know. So we'll go on. It's National Horror Movie Day. What's your favorite horror movie? Mine would probably be more like some of the classics. Like Frankenstein and stuff like that. I'm not into the blood and gore stuff. Boston cream pie, we talked about that. Now I'll send a recipe to Ma. I'll get up there in December, see what happens. Swallows depart from San Juan Capistrano Day. Okay. And iPod Day. We talked about all that. We'll click here. See what more info we can gain. Let's see. John Heisman, it is his birthday today. He's a pioneer in early college football, and the award is named after him. William Coolidge was the inventor of the modern X-ray tube. I know none of you probably remember tubes. I worked at Radio Shack, and we had to learn different things about tubes so that we could sell them. So Bob Montana, illustrator and creator of Archie's comics. Gosh, I read a bunch of those growing up. Brian Ross, he's a journalist, born in 1948. Dwight Yoakam, he was born in 1956, a country music star. Little Ways, Turn It On, Turn It Up, Turn Me Loose. Ain't that lovely? Michael Eric Dyson, activist and author of Making Malcolm's The Myth and Meaning of Malcolm X. And let's see. Dale Crover, former drummer for Nirvana. And let's see. We talked about most of these days. 1760, the first Jewish prayer book was printed. The first ship sails through the Erie Canal to Utica on this day. The National Horseshoe Tournament, the first one, was held in Iowa. In 1923, Babe Ruth makes a postseason exhibition appearance in a rival's Giants uniform. Got him booed. Let's see. President Nixon turns over the White House tapes to a judge. Oh, that turned out to be a mess, didn't it? All right. It turned out to be a historical mess. All right. So today is the 296th day of 2025, the 32nd day of autumn. Is it cold where you are yet? I tell you what, I was ready to put a blanket on this overnight. Here in Atlanta, it got down to like the 50s. That's cold for Atlanta. So today, and it's going to get colder. We got a cold front coming. It's going to get down to freezing in the deep south soon. So I don't know if I'm ready for cold weather. Today in history, 1915, 2,500 women marched on Fifth Avenue in New York City to advocate for voting rights for women. 1946, the UN's General Assembly met for the first time in New York City. Andre says it's already cold in Illinois. Have you seen that white stuff yet? In 2001, Apple announced the first iPod, which cost $399. Wow. And offered 5 gigabytes of storage. That's small now, isn't it? 2002, armed Chechen separates took more than 700 people hospital at a theater in Moscow. And let's see, we talked about all the birthdays. And let's see, I don't think I missed anybody. Meghan McCain, we did miss her, columnist and TV personality. Today's fact, sale of the new board game Twister skyrocketed in May of 1966 after Johnny Carson played the game with Eva Gabor on his show. So Andres reports no white stuff yet. It's coming. It's coming. So today in sports, right fielder Joe Carter, the Toronto Blue Jays hit 3-run home run in the bottom of the ninth to defeat the Phillies. They're in the Blue Jays' second consecutive World Season title. Well, I understand in a couple days they're going to be playing for it again. Yeah, I have not watched a single baseball game in 2 seasons now. Horrible. Ever since they changed the broadcasting rights in Atlanta for the Braves, I wasn't going to pay extra for something we were getting for free. Today's quote, if you don't know history, then you don't know anything. You're a leaf that doesn't know it is part of a tree. That's an interesting quote. If you don't know history, then you don't know anything. You are a leaf that doesn't know it's a part of the tree. All right. Today's number, member of the United Nations when it first convened, 51. Today's moon, well, we're between a new moon and a first quarter moon. Anxiously awaiting the BEEF. The BEEF. Let's see. 59 days until winter begins. Word of the day is morning star. It's a planet that is above the eastern horizon at sunrise, less than 180 degrees west of the sun in the right ascension. Okay. Today is the best day to begin your diet. I've been trying to be keto. but it's so hard. Brew beer or cider. I've never tried to brew cider. We've made a couple batches of beer when I was into trying different tastes of beer. I did brew beer. It's actually a little harder than everybody thinks. Anxiously awaiting November 5th and the BEEF. So, all right. Well, the BEEF is coming. Blue ribbon Halloween pretzel treat. All right. It's got candy corn on it. I got to look at this. I'm sorry. Halloween pretzel treat. This is, you can't be on keto on this. Top these mini pretzels with candy corn or M&Ms for Halloween. The treat is ridiculously easy to make, which means I can make it, but it's also addictive. The mix of chocolate, sweet and salty flavors is delicious. You take the pretzels and you put Hershey's Hugs or caramels. You top them with sprinkles or candy corn or M&Ms. I couldn't handle the candy corn. That's too much sugar. Way too much sugar. Now, I'll give it to my 4-year-old grandson and send him back to the mom. Here you go. Yeah, gave him a Mountain Dew too. So don't at me. I wouldn't do that. So October 23rd. Well, it's also a great day to cut firewood. Man, I haven't done that since I lived in Tennessee. Cut hair to increase growth. I need a haircut. Dig holes, mow to increase growth, and wax your floors. It's a good day to wax your floors. Let's see. Before we get into the daily brief, let's just do some crazy news that's going on right now. I'm going to update this, but as you know, if you're in the United States, and you might have heard if you're in Australia, our government, well, it's shut down. Those people that we sent up there can't seem to agree on anything. So the Senate failed to advance a GOP, which is Republican-backed measure that would pay federal employees, military members, and contractors who have continued to work during the shutdown, which is now on day 23. The bill, known as the Shutdown Fairness Act, introduced by GOP Senator Ron Johnson of Wisconsin, needed Democrat support to reach 60 votes, which was required to advance. It fell short with a tally of 54 to 45. There were 3 Democrats who crossed the aisle: John Fetterman of Pennsylvania, and our 2 senators, that's shocking, John Ossoff and Raphael Warnock. I think they're up for re-election. That's probably why they did it. I don't know. Fetterman's been surprising people. Republicans said the legislation would bring needed relief to those federal workers who have remained on the job and are due to miss paychecks. Democrats argued that the bill would give the president broad authority to determine who gets paid and who didn't. They offered their own pair of bills that would have paid federal workers, but Republicans objected and they didn't receive the vote. So it's the 12th time our government's been shut down at the moment, which is 14:45 East Coast time, for 22 days, 14 hours, and 44 minutes. Well, Senate Majority Leader John Thune commented on the floor saying that Democrats are in a very bad headspace right now. If you have any federal employees, how would you vote against something that would make you make sure in the middle of a government shutdown they continue to work, that they continue to get paid? That's all it was. Very simple, straightforward. So it's a mess. And let's see. White House warns of air travel issues at Thanksgiving if shutdown continues. Don't worry. The alien overlords are coming on the 29th. So 3 Democrats vote with the GOP. We talked about that. 2 from Georgia. I am really shocked, especially with Warnock. He's independently wealthy here. So in Georgia, he's my senator, and we won't comment. He does not answer letters. I will say that. I can say that with fact. All right, so our government is turning on itself. And when I say that, it's not just Republican, Democrat. They're now putting other people in harm's way, who some of them are working without pay. Letitia James authorized a portal to dox ICE agents. The New York Attorney General, even though she's facing fraud charges in an ever-expanding scandal, a criminal investigation, has launched a portal for Democrats to report and therefore dox ICE agents. After an ICE agent raid where federal officers arrested 9 illegal aliens with criminal records in New York City, they flipped their lids, screaming about abuse. I'm scratching my head here if you don't hear me if you can't see me on the radio. ICE officers, government officials, police officers arrested illegal aliens, and they weren't just illegal because they were here in the U.S. They had criminal records, and the New York Democrats have lost their mind. Where are we going in a world when we are standing on the side of criminals? She proudly announced in a press release that she's encouraging New Yorkers to submit videos and other documentation of federal immigration enforcement actions in New York City following the raid on Canal Street in New York City. That's the raid where the federal law enforcement finally put the 9 foreign criminals in handcuffs. New York is actually safer because they're in handcuffs, but New Yorkers are upset because they came and took criminals out of their neighborhoods. Please, somebody explain this to me. That makes some sense. They were criminals, and not just criminals in the way that because they crossed the imaginary line from one country to another. They're criminals because they've done things to harm people. What? I just don't get it. All right, so we're going to talk about this. I don't fully understand where this is going yet, but the NBA is in trouble. Coach, several players have been arrested, and there's charges being brought for bets. There's something about poker rings, and then there's mob ties. So Basketball Hall of Famer Chancey Phillips, he's a Miami Heat guard, and Miami Heat guard Terry Rozier, a former player and coach, Damon Jones, were among more than 30 individuals arrested Thursday morning, it was this morning, and indicted in a sweeping criminal investigation into an alleged illegal gambling and sports rigging. And it's also involving 4 of the 5 mafia families. I had a press conference today in Brooklyn. The FBI director and representatives from the Department of Justice and NYPD laid out the details of the operation that spanned 11 states, resulted in 34 arrests, and involved tens of millions of dollars. If you remember, we also just shut down in Idaho a horse track that also had this, and there were some people who weren't from around here who got caught up in it. Dang the bad luck. So, rigged illegal poker games, sports corruption. It goes even as high as LeBron James and players who may have faked injuries and then bet on games. This is going to be ugly. This is going to be probably worse than the Pete Rose scandal. So, good Lord. So there's going to be more sports news coming. So, Putin and his saber rattlers are saying World War III is getting closer because of the U.S.'s crippling oil sanctions, and Russia's president saying it's an act of war. And Zelensky, he just has to put his 2 cents in, says that terror has a cost. Moscow has warned the peacemaker Donald Trump that his punishing oil sanctions are an act of war against Russia. Top Putin administrator Dmitry Medvedev fiercely hit out that Washington, as he vowed, Moscow can now focus on destroying enemies and not making pointless deals. Trump slapped the sanctions on Russian oil companies on Wednesday after a turbulent week, which saw the Kremlin all but ostracized by Washington for its refusal to accept a peace deal in Ukraine. When announcing the sanctions, U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said the companies responsible for funding they are responsible for funding Kremlin's war machine. Trump says he hopes the sanctions will be a wake-up call for Putin to become more reasonable over what it will take for a deal to be made. But as expected, Russia hasn't responded positively to the crippling punishments. Former President Medvedev and now Deputy Chairman, Secretary Council of the Russian Federation, took to Telegram to blast the decision. He spewed, "If any commentator still had any illusions, here they are. The United States is our adversary, and their, quote, talkative peacemaker is now fully on the warpath against Russia." This is his quote. Yes, for now, he does not always fight actively on the side of Banderat Kyiv. I'm assuming he's talking about the leader in Kyiv. And he said, but this is now his conflict. So he's saying this war is now Trump's, not Biden, the seniles. Even Russia called him. It's a deliberate act of war against Russia, according to them. So the 60-year-old warmonger said, but he said there is a clear positive in Trump's last pendulum swings. Now possible to strike all of the hideouts with every kind of weapon without worrying about unnecessary negotiations. So the Ukrainian wartime leader Zelensky believes the sanctions will be the biggest marker on ending the war. He's also left our country to go beg other countries for money and weapons. So we just talked about that. I got out of line with this. But the top House Democrats have launched a master ICE tracker to keep tabs on federal agents. In case you're curious who they are, they're Representative Rob Garcia, a Democrat from California. He's on the House Oversight Committee and Government Reform. And he announced this while he was with LA Mayor, Democrat Karen Bass. So news come as the committee would be launching an investigation into DHS. American citizens are being dragged off by the street by masked men, thrown into detention cells without access to lawyers or even a phone call. No one, regardless of the background or appearance, he's implying there that we're only picking on brown people, should be living in fear of being thrown behind bars by their own government because of their race or what they look like. Now, I agree with him there, but if you're a criminal, you deserve to be behind bars. And you're a criminal when you cross the imaginary line. And he says this is completely un-American. So yeah, they've got a website now where they track the agents and they dox them. And that's not the only people they're doxing. We'll talk about that here in a minute. Well, Attorney General Pam Bondi, well, she issued a strong condemnation regarding the plan by the Democrats to launch the Master ICE Tracker, which is designed to monitor and expose immigrations and customs enforcement across LA. It's spread to it's multiple areas right now. So announced an initiative. We talked about that. Bondi quickly criticized the plan in a social media post stating that Garcia and Senator Richard Blumenthal from Connecticut are trying to put ICE agents at risk for doing their job. The border czar Tom Holman supported Bondi's concern, claiming that the hateful rhetoric, I have been so vocal on that, the hateful rhetoric exposes agents' movements have correlated with a surge of organized attacks on the officers. They're attacking them now as they're trying to do their job, and they're attacking their families and their pets. So there's outrage on both sides. One side that it's occurring, the other side that, well, We're enforcing the law. All right, so this comes to us from I Issues and Insights. The headline is, "You are being lied to about ICE." Pop quiz. During which Trump administration did the following happen? ICE has been targeting the home of immigrant children, mothers, and families in California, leading one critic to say the raids go against our nation's fundamental values and justice for all. Another said, then how could America say it's okay to send parents and children away? What value system is that? I think it's un-American. The American Immigration Council said that ICE raids have left children without parents and feeling abandoned, separated nursing babies from their mothers, separated pregnant wives from their husband, and compelled local communities and organizations to scramble to address child welfare crisis in their wake. The LA Times reported that ICE detained 2 illegal immigrant women who'd been led into the country under the Violence Against Women Act. One was arrested in her home after ICE showed up looking for people who no longer lived there. ICE agents in Georgia, Texas, North Carolina, and Southern California forced their way into homes without a warrant to arrest people suspected of being in the country illegally. One mother said an agent threatened her not to make him mad. One Chicagoan, I don't know, he lived in Chicago, was threatened with deportation despite being a U.S. citizen who happened to be born in Puerto Rico. Nordstrom University political science professor Jacqueline Stevens told one outlet, "I think it's pretty fair to say that there's a low but persistent rate of people who are being held by ICE in violation of the law who are U.S. citizens." Marshall Project looked at more than 300,000 deportations, and despite administration claims that ICE was focusing on the, quote, worst of the worst, found that about 60% of the immigrants with no criminal conviction or whose only crime was immigration related, fewer than 20% had potentially violent convictions such as assault, DUI, or weapons offenses. All right. So if you guessed, that was either the first or second Trump administration. Everything I just read to you, if you thought that was the first or second Trump administration, you would be wrong. That was the Obama administration. I say that again. That was the Obama administration. And during his first and second term, and we can practically say his third term under Biden, that was all under him. Or those headlines and those quotes from government. Just think about that. You're being lied to about ICE, and they're making you call them names and harm the officers. So, we've talked about in the past how everybody should pay their fair share. Right now, our troops are going without pay, and the Democrats are blocking the president and even suing him, who's trying to move funds to make sure that our soldiers are paid. Well, check this out. This was breaking news as we were coming on. Germany is stepping in to pay thousands of local workers at U.S. bases amid the shutdown. Germany will front the salaries of nearly 12,000 local national employees at military bases that the federal government shut down delays October paychecks, German officials said. The state is home to the largest concentration of U.S. forces in Germany, including Ramstein and Garrison Rhineland. Officials said they urged German France ministry to step in and ensure payment of the wages owed to German employees, the assorted U.S. military bases within its territories. Their number accounts for more than one half of the country's total. Let me say that again. Those numbers account for more than half of the country's total. They are preparing to pay approximately $50 million in emergency funding to ensure workers are paid on time, according to German news outlets. So, labor union, which represents German workers employed at U.S. military installations inside their country, had pressed for action by Berlin because of the ongoing government shutdown here in the U.S. Tens of thousands of members spread across numerous Army and Air Force bases, its largest overseas military community. So not only are we a very large portion of their community, the people on the bases actually are employees of the U.S. government. So they're going to step up into the plate since the Democrats won't, and Germany is going to pay all the people on U.S. bases while the U.S. is shut down. I don't know if I want to say that's an ally or not, but that certainly is a very positive move. So, all right. So we talked about this yesterday too. NASA with 3I Atlas. They're using this as a quote training drill, but yet that has fueled theories that experts say it's just science. Nothing to see here. A worldwide observing campaign designed to improve comet tracking accuracy has become the latest target in the online conspiracy chatter. NASA and the European Space Agency and the International Asteroid Warning Network, IAWN, have launched what they call a planetary defense training exercise. But however, the internet's more imaginative places are convinced it's something far darker. I'm just going to insert. How many times have we seen training become real? The project focused on the interstellar object 3I Atlas. It asked astronomers around the globe to coordinate measurements to refine the ability to track unpredictable celestial bodies. While it may sound routine, some social media users are spinning it as evidence that NASA is secretly bracing for impact. I don't think we're bracing for impact, but I think there's more to 3I Atlas because all the space agencies, including China, aren't talking. So officials have made clear the initiative has one simple goal: better data. Comets like 3I Atlas are notoriously hard to measure. They're glowing comets. Is it comets or comas? Giant clouds of dust and gas can shift telescopes' reading by thousands of kilometers. In a recent bulletin, the Minor Planet Center described comets as extended bodies whose tail can systematically pull their centroid measurements off their central brightness peak. Put that in plain terms. The object's apparent center isn't where its solid core is. The kind of uncertainty, even in tiny measurement errors, can lead to completely wrong predictions. For planetary defense system, that depends on accuracy down to the fraction of a degree. This training campaign is a vital opportunity to test new techniques before the next unknown visitor sweeps through our solar system. 3I Atlas is the first interstellar object ever included in the planetary defense exercise. It has drawn interest partly because of the oddities, like a faint anti-tail that seems to point towards the sun rather than away from it. Curious features help fuel speculations that it's more than just ice and rock. Harvard astrophysicist Avi Loeb added fuel earlier this year, writing the object's unusual motion near the sun could reflect a spacecraft-like maneuver. But experts are quick to note that Loeb's suggestions remain purely theoretical, that NASA and IAWN scientists have repeatedly dismissed any notion of an alien craft or secret danger. So, all right, so they began campaigns in 2025 and November 27th. I'm sorry, they will begin on November 27th, 2025, and they will run through January 27th, 2026. All participants must attend mandatory workshops on November 10th, followed by a global coordination teleconference later in the month. So there you go. They're setting it up. But they say there is no hidden threat. Despite the internet's appetite for mystery, the official message couldn't be clear. There is no threat, no cover-up, and certainly no alien mothership. NASA is not deploying rockets, activating defense systems, or warning governments. of impact scenarios. Instead, they are just partners using data as a live fire test for precision tracking. That's an interesting word. Live fire test, a drill that happens to solve one of the most intriguing visitors to cross our skies. Wouldn't be something that they decide, we'll just shoot something at it. And we're going to be blowing shit up. Chris says, wasn't there some kind of training going on September 11th, 2001 that caused some sort of confusion? Yes, there was, Chris. But there's no conspiracy there. So, all right. So, well, yesterday, in case you weren't paying attention, our SecWar issued the orders to strike and kill another drug vessel. This time it was in the Pacific. So, U.S. military killed 3 more individuals in a strike on the alleged drug boat in the Pacific Ocean on Wednesday. Secretary of War Hegseth said these strikes will continue day after day. These drug terrorist organizations are the Al-Qaeda of our hemisphere and will not escape justice, he posted on X. We will find them and kill them until the threat to the American people is extinguished. No U.S. forces were harmed in the operation, Hegseth said in a 26-second clip of the strike. The latest operation is at least the ninth. We've done it 9 times now. Strike conducted in the U.S. Southern Command area of responsibility since September. Strikes come following a buildup of maritime forces in the region, including 8 surface warships, 6,000 sailors and Marines. So the operations so far have killed 37 people. This latest was in the Pacific. All the others were in the Caribbean. Let's go on here to the next story. Let's see. We talked about that. That was the 8th one. Why did I want to highlight that? So that was the 8th one. We're past that. We're on the 9th one now. So it is noted so that people say, well, it's just the U.S. Well, look here. This comes from Al Jazeera. Other countries are doing this too. Pakistan Navy seizes drugs worth nearly $1 billion in the Arabian Sea. That's right. So Pakistan, close that. I can't read that. The Pakistani Navy, operating as part of a Saudi-led combined maritime force, has seized $1 billion worth of narcotics from 2 vessels sailing through the Arabian Sea. So we're not the only one cracking down and doing this. Now, maybe they didn't blow it up. They boarded it, and they seized 2 tons of crystal meth ice worth more than $822 million, $400,000 on October 18th. Less than 48 hours later, they boarded a second ship containing 350 kilograms of ice worth $140 billion and 50 kilograms of cocaine worth $10 billion. So, 10 million, my bad. It's close. So, Chris says more unclassified smoke. Very nice. I just think this is interesting that other countries are doing the same thing and they're not getting any pushback. And so, Operation Chalkline, FBI SWAT team storm Wisconsin and a massive cartel and gang bust. Wisconsin, so we're moving around here. Federal agents launched a high-impact gang takedown in Wisconsin this morning, arresting 22 and seizing a cache of drugs, guns, and vehicles in a coordinated strike dubbed Operation Chalkline. Backed by 14 SWAT teams and dozens of law enforcement partners, the FBI Milwaukee-led operation targeted violent criminal networks operating in Milwaukee and Racine, Wisconsin. So we got 4 kilograms of coke, 250 grams of fentanyl, 1.5 pounds of methamphetamine, 6 pounds of marijuana, and 23 firearms taken off the streets of Milwaukee. And let's see. We talked about this the other day, and there's finally a headline on it, even though there was another show that broke it 2 days ago. So they broke it early, and I couldn't find any info. But British authorities on Thursday have arrested 3 men suspected on spying for Russia, according to the London Metropolitan Police. 3 unidentified men were 48, 45, and 44 under their national act of suspicion of assisting a foreign intelligence service. So they're seeing an increasing number of who we would describe as, quote, proxies being recruited by foreign intelligence services. These arrests are directly related to the ongoing efforts to disrupt this type of activity, according to the London counter-terror chief. On Thursday, the 3 were arrested at West and Central London addresses on suspicion of assisting foreign intelligence. So 3 suspects were arrested, part of a widening investigation by detectives in counterterrorism policing in London, which is a broader branch of the nationwide counterterrorism unit. So the 3 suspected Russian spies will remain in custody. And an interesting note, they will not be counted as POWs, so they have less rights than POWs. Interesting thing there. They can do things with and to them that are really bad. I hesitate to bring this up because of the nature of it, but I also saw that the media is not covering it. So since we are kind of alternative media, and yes, sometimes opinionated media, I'm not a political scientist, but some things need to come out. A big rig driver, a big truck driver, a tractor and trailer driver from Yuba City has been arrested and accused of causing an 8-vehicle crash that killed 3 people and injured others on the South California freeway. It happened on I-10 in Ontario on Tuesday when a big rig driver did not slow down, leading to a chain reaction crash involving 4 big trucks, 2 pickup trucks, 2 cars, according to the CHP. And federal officials are speaking out about the case because the driver is believed to be in the country illegally. Now, let's highlight that word believed. We have proof he's in the country illegally. I'm not able to pronounce his first name, and I don't care. Singh, he's 21, is being held in jail without bail on suspicion of vehicular manslaughter while intoxicated, driving under the influence, according to the U.S. Department of Homeland Security. Immigration officials have lodged an arrest detainer, saying he first entered the country illegally through the southern border in 2022 and then was released into the country. So he was caught coming in illegally, and they were like, just go away. Go on. You can go. Let him loose in California. It's a terrible tragedy. 3 innocent people lost their lives due to the reckless open border policies of a previous administration. So, and this is not something new. This has been going on for a while. And let's see here. I cringe at doing this, but I'm doing it for a reason. He's being accused, but yet there is a truck driving camera, like a dash cam, that captured the entire event. It's quite horrific. So you can see he never stopped one time. And this is saying he's alleged. There's no alleged about this. This is homicide. This is murder. This is reckless endangerment. He does not need to be removed from the country. He needs to be removed from airspace. This is not the first time this has happened. So hopefully it will continue to hopefully it will not continue. We want to see these things go away. That's why we're trying to crack down on people here illegally. So a deported child sex offender, he was caught re-entering the U.S. again during a human smuggling stop in Texas. Routine traffic stop at Eagle Pass led the Texas Department of Public Safety troopers to apprehend a previously deported child sex offender from Mexico. The October 15 stop in Maverick County uncovered 3 illegal immigrants inside a Dodge Challenger, and they were 49-year-old Jose Alman Arreo, an aggravated felon convicted of indecency with a child and assault in North Carolina just 2 months prior. So they caught sex offenders who had once been kicked out coming back in. I'm telling you, they are coming for our children, and it's horrible. And previous administrations didn't seem to give two shits. I didn't really follow this, but apparently the former press secretary, Jen Psaki, started some, I don't even want to call it gossip, about the second first lady. What is her official title? Vice president's wife. This article comes from Twitchy. It says, why are Democrat women so awful? You know, we might as well ask why water is wet, although we imagine we have some smart aleck reader who will tell us in comments below. So we're not sure what Jim Psaki thought. It was smart to go after J.D. Vance via his wife, but here are the insults. The former press secretary said, your wife needs to be saved from you. Vance said, this is disgraceful, but of course the second lady can speak for herself. I'm lucky to have a wonderful wife, a very loving wife. She's going to keep serving the country together. I'm honored to have Yusha by my side. So they're trying to say that she's being held captive by Vance. So what an awful thing to say. Why would you say that about a person's spouse? Horrible thing. Let's see. Yeah, this, I don't know. We'll go over this, but basically it's talking about how they keep trying to go after. Oh, well, I remember why I brought this up. Homeland Security has been vigilant about responding to posted headlines that mischaracterize them. For instance, the Oregon's Post said a blind protester had been dragged and detained by federal agents who picked the weakest person. And they reported minors as young as 5-year-olds were zip-tied and detained by ICE at a family-oriented picnic in Idaho. Family-oriented picnic in Idaho. It was a sports betting horse track. And they claim that they were zip-tied, but yet there's no video. There's no video of those claims. And so I just don't understand. Please show us a video. And it wasn't a friggin' picnic, you liar. It was an illegal horse racing site. So no children were zip-tied, arrested, or restrained by ICE during the illegal horse racing, animal fighting, and gambling enterprise on the property known as La Cathedral Arena in Wilder, Idaho, where they arrested 105 illegal aliens. It was family night at animal fighting, huh? And there's yet zero proof of children being zip-tied. But yet 105 people were there. And where is the moral outrage at the irresponsible parents who expose their children to horrific scenes associated with animal fighting? What are they thinking? So they're all right. So the demolition at the East Wing is, well, being highly criticized, but they are going further than just attacking the company. This comes to us from WTOP News in Washington, D.C. The company called ACO is the contractor that is doing the work. But now it has a social media problem after the contracting company's website was attacked, after the building was starting to be torn down for the $250 million ballroom. So if you go to their website, there's a thing that says the site is under construction. Well, 3 days ago, it was up and running. So much heat was generated on Yelp that they've had to disable their Yelp account. People from Oregon are even posting their traitor to the United States. They should be ashamed for the destruction of the East Wing. May karma prevail. What? They aren't even there. Associate professor at Virginia's Tech School of Communication told WTOP they are being bombarded in ways that aren't from firsthand experience, but are from people responding to seeing news and wanting to express their anger. Kind of like if you keep calling the officers the N-word or saying they're horrible people, it's making other people do stupid things. So they have attacked the company. They have doxed the employees and went after the employees. They are working people, went after them and their families. WTOP has learned the names through a press release of the list of donors in the $1 Million Ballroom. And they include big companies like Amazon, Apple, Caterpillar, Comcast, Google, HP, Lockheed Martin, Microsoft, Palantir, we don't like them, T-Mobile, Union Pacific Railroad, and it names go on. You can find the complete list online, so if you're interested there now. So, and one website says it's all a plot because stupid X post is about a White House ballroom. All right, so be prepared. They have a picture of the Winter Palace in St. Petersburg, and then below it, they post a rendering of what is to be the new ballroom. Trump took one look at the restroom ballroom and said, "We must have one just like it." I don't understand. It's a ballroom. It's just a room. It's a big open space where they're going to put tables and I don't understand why they're saying it looks just like Russia's. It doesn't. And it's gold and white. Their colors match, and it's a big wide open room. So, it's a ballroom. What do you expect a ballroom to look like? A big open room. So there's lights, there's walls, there's pillars. I don't understand. So, and this comes from Hakeem Jeffries. Apparently, he is threatening anyone behind the White House ballroom. So now they're going to go after the companies and their employees. So now they're going after that. It makes no sense. Now the names and companies have been released. Hakeem Jeffries, they're saying we need to go after them. So Democrats blocked the bill to pay the military and essential workers, shutting it down. We talked about just a minute ago. They passed the bill, or they did not pass the bill Thursday to pay active duty members of the military or other essential employees. The employee blocked, they shut down Fairness Act of 2025. So 55 to 45, 60 votes needed to advance. And we talked about the two from Georgia and Fetterman crossing the line. And this Democrat, well, he's from Arizona. He says he will not forgo his paycheck. That's right. Senate staffers are missing their paychecks, but the senators aren't. Democratic Senator Ruben Gallego told the Daily Caller News that he is still evaluating to request that his next check be withheld. He criticized Republicans for pursuing symbolic bullshit gestures, while arguing most of his colleagues are wealthy individuals who can afford to miss a paycheck. The whole point of all this is one big gimmick, because all these guys here are either millionaires or billionaires and already got paid out for the month before they started doing this, Gallego told DCNF while referring to his House colleagues who are paid on a monthly basis. At the same time, they've been careless to the fact that they're going to increase the insurance premiums of 24 million Americans and potentially kick 4 million Americans off. These symbolic bullshit gestures don't do anything to help the cause. Members of Congress receive their salary during the shutdown due to provision in the Constitution protecting their pay, and they earn an average salary of $174,000, and those in leadership get higher sums. But a large swath of lawmakers in both parties have pledged to forego the paycheck. But he told them that he can't. I will be missing, mortgage payment, rent payments. Why do you have a mortgage and rent payment? That's two separate things. Child support. Okay. So he's not going to be able to pay those things because he's not wealthy like the other Congress people. So he's not going to withhold his pay. I'm not wealthy. I'm going to get paid. But yet he continues to vote against his employees and the troops getting paid. Gavin Newsom has urged Californians to remain peaceful as the feds arrive in San Francisco. So, yeah, the feds are coming into San Francisco, quite a bit of them. And he has lost in court as we were coming to air that troops can come into California. So Gavin Newsom is telling the residents to remain peaceful. New word they're using is sick. Not sure that I approve of this terminology. It's not up to me to approve, though. The new word they're using about people when they don't like them, they're saying they are sick. So I don't know. Does Earth moon have a new moon? Well, it's a quasi-moon. How about that? We'll call it a quasi-moon. It's a newish traveling companion, a tiny asteroid, a quasi-moon that has been named 2025 PN7. Not to be mistaken with a mini-moon. The celestial object follows an orbit similar to Earth's around the sun, rather than orbit around Earth. It sticks close to Earth. It makes annual rotations around the sun along with our planets, 6 other quasi-moons. Did you know we had this? So we have a total of 7 quasi-moons orbiting the sun alongside Earth. Did anybody know this? This wasn't taught to me. So they've been watching this and they spotted the 7th from a telescope in Hawaii. So this just shows we really don't know what is out in space around us. I didn't know we had 7 mini moons. All right. Fetterman, I kind of skipped ahead here. He made headlines by going against the party. And he told Fox Hannity this morning he's willing to pay a price to help reopen the government, even if it means breaking with his party as the shutdown stretches into the 4th week. I'm always going to vote country over my party. And if I pay a price within my base, that's something I'm willing to do. When did Fetterman get common sense? Well, good job. And Chris says government needs to shut down and fund a department to better name moons and comets. Agreed. This has nothing to do with any of it. I wanted to bring this up because a lot of Americans don't know we have this. This is a true Nazi ship that Americans have used. It's a training ship. It's the Eagle we've had for 80 years after its previous life with the Nazis. For 4 generations of Coast Guard cadets getting their sea legs and literally learning the ropes. It's a 3-mast sailing ship. So cadets graduate to serve on icebreakers and fast cutters, fly helicopters, 4-engine Hercules transports, lead search and rescue operations, and interdict drug shipments. Since 1946, nearly all start their career aboard the Eagle, steel-hulled vessel with 3-masted sailing ships. Has an unusual history as a former Nazi training ship, which the U.S. took as a war prize after WW2. Next year, the Eagle will celebrate 80 years as part of the Coast Guard. Its alumni rank from ensigns to admirals. About 600 cadets a year spend time on the Eagle. So if you multiply that by 80 a year, you're talking about thousands of Coast Guard officers who began their career on the Eagle. Inslee, He's 50, said he was once a 17-year-old cadet who didn't know starboard from port. By the end of his training on the Eagle, he'd mastered steering, tacking, ropes, unfurling the canvas, and timeless basics of sailing ships. I became salty. The Eagle allows cadets to tie their careers to the traditions of the seagoing force. Everyone is put out in the open air, he said. The bridge, the decks, you get wet, you get cold, you get tired, you get hungry. That's part of helping build the Coast Guard leaders we need who are able to withstand the rigors. During the 5-month voyage, sailed from New London to New Vancouver in Canada. It made calls in Costa Rica, Mexico, California, Oregon, and Washington. It has twice passed through the Panama Canal. So it's at a festival right now. If you ever get a chance to go see this, go see this. It's impressive. And I think it's a testament to what people don't understand about the U.S. Coast Guard. They still keep traditions, unlike others in the military. And I'm not saying it's bad, but this ship is an amazing vessel. And it's operated, of course, by the DHS and Coast Guard. It's older than the USS Constitution, Old Ironsides frigate that was commissioned in 1737. So, and that remains in the Navy's possession, but it's at a museum. This is an actual seaworthy vessel that is still going to sea, still training Coast Guard officers and special operators within the Coast Guard. So, if you ever get a chance, go see this. Go see this. This vessel is not only impressive and beautiful and amazing, you will learn a lot, not only American history, but about sailing history in general. And Coast Guard is very proud of that ship, and they should be. And they're going to continue to use it to train coasties. So, all right, we'll switch over to what we normally do. We're way behind, actually. The daily operations briefing. Well, FEMA's been asleep. There's nothing new. They didn't do their report. We'll see what the president's doing today. Well, 9 a.m. to be in your little press pool office if you got to be there. At White House at 11:20, called a lunch lid. 1 o'clock, there was a briefing by Carolyn Levitt. 3 o'clock, the president made an announcement in the state dining room. I don't know what it was. We'll see in breaking news. Let's see. Yesterday, after we left, he met with the Secretary General of the North American Treaty. And then there were some people talking out at the sticks. We also the Southern Command did an attack in Africa. That's not really making much news, but we did deploy missiles and rockets. So let's see. 6 minutes ago, Trump won't immediately send federal agents into San Francisco. Just in, Trump says in social media post, he's decided to back away from a plan to surge federal agents into San Francisco for now. As of 30 minutes ago, the entire East Wing has been demolished. So Trump is moving forward with the ballroom construction. They say they're not supposed to be taking pictures of this. White House comments on Trump's pardon of Binance founder Changpeng Zhao. Okay, he apparently was pardoned. Trump pardons Binance Chang Zhao, the founder of the largest crypto exchange, who admitted to money laundering. So, interesting. And they're now talking about the shutdown strain on air traffic controllers. And Illinois' governor announced a commission to record Trump's military-style assault. Surgeon General nominee is facing senators in confirmation next week. Stocks drift. Let's see. That seems to be, Jen Psaki, she shouldn't have made those comments. It was highly personal. I don't know why she did that. All right, so we'll look at weather for the U.S. here, because FEMA didn't. We will. If you're in Utah or Colorado in the higher elevations, you could expect some of that nasty white stuff, mixed precipitation. And if you are in Texas, Oklahoma, or New Mexico, even Kansas, you could expect some severe weather and some rain. And there's going to be some snow up in the northeast and the higher mountains of probably the Green Mountains in New York and Vermont. Spotty showers, maybe in Wisconsin, a mixed bag. In the upper mid-Atlantic and the northeast. Tomorrow, well, pretty much the same, except for the higher elevations in Idaho, Washington, and Oregon, as California as well, will join in getting the mixed bag, as will Vermont. The severe weather will increase and be much more severe if you are in Oklahoma, Missouri, Kansas, or Texas. Please be weather aware and have your weather alert system activated. Stay on top of this tomorrow. It's going to be kind of stormy. The snow is going to increase as this cold front is pushing through in Oregon and Idaho. In Vermont, in higher elevations, are going to get their first full snow, while the severe weather continues due to the cold front pushing down into the deep south. Texas, Louisiana, you can see the brunt with some severe heavy storms, thunder, lightning, and lots of rain. So if you're in those areas in the deep south, please stay weather aware. For tornadoes today, Oklahoma and Texas, we have a slight chance. It's a little bit more than 10%, but it will definitely be very windy in those areas. So even as far back as the Four Corner states, keep your weather radios prepared. There's still a chance for some severe weather and even some hail activity from the Four Corners down to almost the deep south. So be prepared, be weather aware. Did I just make a new thing up? All right, so I don't like to always talk about the U.S. because we do have friends in Australia. Currently in Sydney, it feels like it's 17.6. I'm sorry, it feels like 16.2, but it's 17.6. Melbourne, you are 11.6. Brisbane, 21.7. Perth, 14.9. Darwin, 26. Canberra, you're 8. Hobart, you are 8.6. Adelaide, you are 9.4. I know a lot of our listeners are in Perth. They're expecting 1 to 8 millimeters of rain today, and it could be occurring right now. So be cautious while you're out there. So it's going to feel a bit chilly. All right, we will touch on that in a minute. The heaviest amounts of rainfall that the U.S. government has predicted, and currently, we still have a weather service out on the West Coast. Seattle and Oregon and Northern California can anticipate the heaviest, and if there's any problem, snow or precipitation areas, and then the deep south, as always. And looking over to our friends down under, it doesn't look like there's any areas that will get severe or heavy rainfalls, but do stay in touch with your Bureau of Meteorology. So let's see here. What's next? Let's go to the weather warnings. And we're running low on time here. We have the normal test message from Montgomery County, Maryland. Still have yet to figure that one out. Freeze warnings in Iowa. Interesting. In Illinois, there's frost advisories. And of course, along the coastline, there's all kinds of rip currents because of, the storm Melissa out there. Indiana and Kentucky, you have a frost and freezing warning. Montana, you have a high wind watch. We talked about that. Idaho, Idaho, Illinois, free warning, right? Is that right? Missouri, frost warning. I'm losing my mind here. Make sure I'm telling this right. Yeah, that's Iowa, not Idaho. Jesus Christ, Glenn. Iowa and Illinois. I was trying to figure that out. Iowa and Illinois. I forgot about one of the states. What the hell? They're kind of quiet. Red flag warning in Hawaii. So if you're listening to us in Hawaii, be cautious. You have a red flag. Utah, you're having some heavy rain, so you've got a flash flood. There's also Oregon, a high wind warning. And flood watch, Oklahoma and Texas. And let's see, it's going to take us for about the next 10 to 12 hours. Of course, anything can pop up with these storms as that front's pushing south, so pay attention to the weather around you. All right, I think I've made it through most of these. Let's see here. We'll look and see if there's anything. We'll look and see basically from the Appalachia through West Virginia, Kentucky, Illinois, almost all the way. Actually, it is all the way up to the Canadian border. Freeze and frost warnings are going to be in effect. That's even going to be on the other side of the Appalachia, extending through Southwest Virginia, North Carolina, and Maryland later tonight. That's funny. It doesn't have anything for Vermont. So zoom out here. The storms are right now the heaviest in Oklahoma, and you have all kinds of flood warnings out there. Let's go to the next. Well, yeah, let's go to the next. Oh, not that one. Push that button and bad things happen. And we'll look down here in our friends in Australia, and we'll see over in Perth, strong wind warning, coastal waters. So that is for, well, it's all of the coastal waters around, where is it? Perth and Sydney. Jesus Christ. No, not Sydney. Melbourne. It extends all the way over to Melbourne. I'm going to learn this one day. And they've canceled the heat wave warning, but there is some severe in the Northern Territory and in the Queensland area for heat warning. So be prepared out there. And down in Melbourne, I'll finally get it right. Warning to sheep grazers. All right. And that's it. Okay, so they don't have a high wind. It's the warning for sheep grazers. So no, there's a strong wind warning. So all right. Speaking of strong winds, well, if you're in the Caribbean, there's a really strong wind. Its name is Melissa. And currently, as of 11 a.m. Eastern, they have said that it's got a maximum sustained winds of 45 miles an hour, 40 knots. It is moving northwest very slowly at 2 miles an hour, 2 knots. So it's moving to the northwest. And that's going to be critical because it's getting close to the Gulf of America. If it makes a turn, well, it could be ugly. I found another website that I like. It breaks this stuff down a little more easy to find. So currently, the storm path is going to be affecting San Juan, and the cone is increasing, and it'll be later affecting Jamaica, Dominican, and Cuba. I'm sorry, it's not San Juan. What am I saying? No, that's not San Juan. Jeez. I should learn geography. Some of the models have, let's see, bring this up. Some of the spaghetti models have it pretty much turning to the hard right, going over Jamaica and Cuba later this week, but it just depends on when it makes that turn. Let's look at the Google spaghetti monster. But Tropical Tidbits, I found this site, and it is very up to date and accurate. You can find a lot of information on it if you want to check it out. Tropical Tidbits. So check that site out if you're worried about the storms. Looking at the big overall picture in the Atlantic, well, she's not really down there yet. Where is she? She's in the Gulf of, would I catch it? Tropical? No, this is tropical Atlantic wide. Jeez. All right. So, oh, what is it doing? Well, you can see the storm down there just barely churning. Doesn't have an eye yet, does it? I don't think it has an eye yet. So, yeah, the Dominican Republic, Jamaica are currently in its path. So, but I can't really see that it's got a defined eye yet. I'll come over here and look at the Google Weather Lab, which has so far their AI has been more accurate than prognosticators. So once again, I am not a meteorologist. I'm just a big old bag of hot air. But we see that Cuba, Jamaica, and Puerto Rico are probably going to get the brunt of this, depending on when it turns. Now, if it doesn't turn early, there's no chance even Google AI agrees of it going into the Gulf of America. So that's a good thing. But if it should turn, there's a chance that down in the Keys, Florida, and then possibly due to the size of it, the Carolina and Virginia coast. So depending on, it's one term, it depends on the size that this grows to. They're predicting at least a Cat 4, maybe a Cat 5, depending on how large it gets. So that cone of uncertainty will grow. So I mistyped tidbits by one letter and got a very different website. Well, send pictures, Chris. It's been an interesting show without Miss Brenda. Back to what I always do. Look, she hasn't even read my message, so you can check and make sure. Somebody do a welfare check on Brenda. I'll do that after the show. Make sure she's still with us. I texted her too. So, all right. Currently, well, it is not warm. They're going to be warm. Where I'm at here in Atlanta, it's currently 73, but the lows are in the 40s for the next couple of nights. So it's going to be cold. Washington, D.C., well, if you're the nation's capital, you're only going to make it to 63. It's going to be partly cloudy. Our friends in New York City, well, they're going to have a high of 61, sunny skies, but the lows in the 40s. And if you are up in Burlington, Vermont, I've got listeners there and family there. High today is 54, low is in the high 40s. The next 2 days, they're just expecting rain. Let's see. Let me zoom out here. And who in the U.S. has the warmest temperatures? And it appears it would be Austin. No, I'm sorry, San Antonio at 90 degrees. So the warm spot is San Antonio, high of 90 with partly cloudy skies. They're going to be in the high 80s and 90s all weeks. Whew, what's it doing down here where I want to be? Pensacola. Currently, Pensacola is 79. And they're going to have partly cloudy skies. They're going to stay in the 80s most of the week with a little rain later in the week. So why am I not down there? We see that cone of uncertainty for Melissa with Jamaica and Cuba and part of the Dominican. So depending on when it makes that turn, let's go down and look at our friends in Australia temperatures. Switch this to Celsius so that I give at least a little accurate information. And let's see here. Temperature into Celsius. There you go. Close this. All right, so let's do this. Close. Why are you not closing? Close. There we go. All right. So in Perth, you're 16. That's your high. Sunny skies, no rain. You're only going to make it up to 30 Celsius, maybe 30 Celsius by the weekend. Canberra, Carnival. Yeah, I'll just sit at me and tell me how to say it. I'm doing it wrong. High of 22. It's going to stay in the high 20s. Oh, I'm sorry, low 20s all weekend. Sunny skies for the next couple days. The heat wave right now. Let's go to Darwin. Darwin, you're going to be in the mid 30s and sunny skies today. You're not going to get any break for the next couple days. Brisbane, well, you're at 31. That's your high. It's going to maintain that up to next week. It's going to be partly cloudy. You might see over the weekend some showers. Melbourne, well, right now it's 16, partly cloudy. You may get some. You're going to make it up to the 20s later in the week, or later in a week or so over the weekend, but it's going to be spotty showers. So, all right, let's move on from this one. We're running low on time. And I actually added something here. This I added. It's United States only. I don't have one for international yet, but it's water temperatures. So the temperatures, of course, we talk about the temperatures as far as the Caribbean and the waves coming off the Horn of Africa make the storms. But if you're going on vacation, let's say you're going to go to Jacksonville Beach this weekend, let's look at the water temperature there. Yeah, let me look at the water temperature. So the water temperature is 23.5 Celsius or 74.3 degrees at Jacksonville Beach. So the beach is still kind of warm right there. So the temperatures are, now how the hell do I get back to where it was? There we go. Now, if you're going to be in the Gulf of America, let's just say Panama City. We'll go to Panama City, for instance, because a lot of people go to Panama City. Why is it calling it Lynn Haven? No, Panama City. Panama City. Okay, well, give me that one, and I'll take. Good Lord. Okay, maybe I won't take that one because it's being stubborn. There we go. No, it still didn't do it. There we go. So this is Panama City, 78 degrees or 25.6. So it's going to be warm in the Gulf if you're going down into the Gulf of America. So you can get this at seatemperature.org if you're interested in checking the temperature where you're planning on going on a beach trip. Myrtle Beach, if you're going there for the weekend. Only thing it's hard to click on. The water temperature there, well, it's going to be a little chilly when you go in. It's 71 degrees right now. It's a high. So, and their high temperature is in the 50s. So have fun if you go to the beach there. All right, let's look at lightning storms because we talked about that cold front pushing down into it. Right now, Utah, the Four Corners, Utah, Colorado, Arizona, in New Mexico, you're getting hammered right at the Four Corners with some severe storms. That extends all the way down in New Mexico, almost to the Texas border. So that's a pretty good sized storm with lots of electrical punch. Please pay attention. The Four Corners area, very high electrical activity. And we'll zoom out and make sure there's no electrical activity for, well, there is. Ooh, wow, they're getting hammered down here. So there are some storms, and where'd it go? It disappeared. Along the the south coast, coming inland into Western Australia. So there is some severe weather in Western Australia. It's approaching the northern and territory. And so if you are in those areas or along the coastline where it's coming in, please contact your Bureau of Meteorology for better information. And I think the next radio show coming up will probably do a better job telling local for Australia weather than me. So Chris says Andy could have her talking about Melissa. Right now, the U.S., the largest state without power, is California. And we'll zoom on and look here at the Earth. We see, looking down in there, she is trying really hard to get that eye. Well, now she has the eye, according to AI. So she is forming, and it's a pretty large storm. It's only going to grow because, as we talked about, those warmer temperatures. And depending on where she turns, temperatures may be warmer than what's on our coastline. So she's a pretty big deal right now down there in the Caribbean. Jump down to Australia and look at the AI globe. And it looks like down there in South Australia, going over to the west coast is where that's churning the most wind. So be weather aware. And if you just want to, just come check out the big, beautiful blue AI globe. You can come over to the Sportcat show, which I encourage everybody. You can follow on the other shows and watch on the other shows, but come over to the Sportcat shows and check us out. And we want to get monetized, so we're trying to get people to come over and subscribe. So if you can come to subscribe to the Sportcat show, it would be greatly appreciated. I will love you for a long time. Looking at fires throughout the country, I am not sure how much this is updated, but it looks like Texas, Mississippi are having some fire issues, as well as Oregon and California. I'm not sure if this is accurately updated. So looking at the one that is for 24-hour periods, the highest, I don't believe it or not, is Arkansas, Georgia, before it even gets up to the Midwest. That's surprising. And North Carolina. So interesting. Let's look at the air quality real quick before we get out of here. And it looks like down in the Gulf of America, if you're going on vacation down there, and Florida, smoky conditions. And let's see. What do we want to hit real quick before we get out of here? There are no tsunami warnings. Watches are threats. That's always good. Where is it? I like to look at before we go. The volcano updates. Great Sitkin and Kilauea are orange. So if you be weather aware of volcanoes, well, we'll go out of here with this. Our normal. I had something different I was going to show. Oh, well. We look at military activity and see if we see anything along the coastline. And there doesn't appear to be. There's still a lot of training going on. And, well, we do have. It has no call signs. That's interesting. I wonder if that's a weather plane going through Melissa. So in Slam 91, that might be a weather plane going down there. So you can go over to globe.airplanes live, and this is all currently. Remember, it has to be the ones talking. If they're not talking, well, then they're not going to tell you who they are. So this is two tankers that originated from the East Coast. Is headed westbound. So if there's two tankers, you can assume there's at least 30 jet fighters. Now, jets usually don't squawk and tell their location, but they have to when they come get a drink of water. So, yeah. So there's two tankers going across the U.S., and I'm sure there's jets that are fighter jets that are with them. So interesting. So they're moving them around, and on the West Coast, well, you have some surveillance planes going up, and well, guess what? They're going over San Francisco. I wonder what kind of data they're getting there. Eagle 22. So it's an E2, and it's getting all kinds of information down there. So, all right. So pay attention if you're in those areas. Well, yeah. Okay. Well, there's a jet that's just feeding them and getting information over San Francisco, fueling them. So, all right, pay attention. It's not just, I don't have time to bring it up. It's not just the high orbiting balloons. Well, let's go back here for a minute. We talk about the chances of a plane getting struck by lightning. By another aircraft. Well, let's just zoom out for a minute and look at all the air traffic over the United States, from the East Coast all the way to the Midwest. And there's a little break, but the West Coast, all those planes up in the sky up above us. And let's look at another aeronautical chart and look at all the balloons, both weather, spy, amateur radio. These are just the ones talking that are up. So that's pretty high. That's pretty significant. All right, we're going to get out of here. Let's see if there's anything over Australia. You have one balloon over you, and you got two balloons off the coast of Sydney. They're either monitoring or they're, telling you the weather. Oh, take that off. Let's jump down to Australia real quick. See if there's any U.S. planes down there. There are not. So, that's interesting. So you have no U.S. military activity down there, at least not anybody talking. So, all right. And that's a dignitary plane that's coming out of, that's interesting. I don't know who that would be, but it is one of our dignitaries coming out of London right now. So, all right. Well, let's get out of here with what I normally do, showing these cyber attacks. Everybody, I appreciate you putting up for me and listening to me for 2 hours blab on. We are going to sign off in Australia and in the YouTube channel. Please come over to the Sportcat shows and search us out. It would be greatly appreciated. We're trying to get monetized so I could use the sub. Everybody have a great day. I will see you tomorrow, same time, same place, and we'll do the same thing. Hopefully we'll find Brenda, find out what's wrong with her. So here we go. We're at it.